Does free will truly exist? Or are our actions predetermined by the laws of the universe? This is a question that has puzzled human minds for centuries. It's the enigma of free will, a concept that seems so intrinsic to our human experience, yet so elusive under the lens of critical scrutiny. Free will, in simple terms, is the ability to make choices that are genuinely our own, independent of any external factors. It's the idea that we as individuals have the power to shape our own destiny. It's the belief that we are not merely pawns in some cosmic chess game, but players with the ability to move our own pieces. On the other side of the spectrum is determinism. This is the notion that every event, including human cognition and behavior, is causally determined by an unbroken chain of prior occurrences. According to this view, your decision to watch this video, the thoughts you're having right now, every single action you've ever taken, were all set in motion long before you were even born. The philosophical landscape is riddled with varying perspectives on this matter. Some philosophers, like Baruch Spinoza, argued that everything is determined, that free will is an illusion. Others, like René Descartes, championed the existence of free will, asserting that humans have a unique capacity for self-determination. Many more have found themselves somewhere in between, grappling with the complex interplay of freedom and causality. They ask, can we be free even if our actions are caused? Can determinism and free will coexist? These questions are the bedrock of a philosophical view known as compatibilism. But as we'll soon discover, the question of free will is not an easy one to answer. It's a subject that straddles the line between philosophy and science, between introspection and empiricism. It's an enigma that challenges our understanding of ourselves and the universe we inhabit. As we delve deeper, we'll find that the debate between free will and determinism is far from black and white. Let's turn our attention to determinism, the idea that every event is necessitated by antecedent events and conditions together with the laws of nature. Determinism is a philosophical concept that suggests that every event or state of affairs, including every human decision and action, is the inevitable and necessary consequence of antecedent states of affairs. In simpler terms, it's the belief that all events are predetermined and therefore inevitable. From a scientific perspective, determinism is often associated with the physical laws of the universe. For instance, the laws of physics dictate that if you throw a ball into the air, it will eventually fall back down. This is a deterministic event. The outcome can be predicted based on the initial conditions and the laws of physics. Similarly, many aspects of biology are deterministic. Take genetics, for instance. Your genes, which you inherit from your parents, determine a host of things about you, from your eye color to your susceptibility to certain diseases. But what does this mean for our sense of morality and personal responsibility? If our actions are the result of predetermined events, can we truly be held accountable for them? This is where the debate gets really interesting. For instance, if a person commits a crime, we typically hold them responsible for their actions. But if determinism is true, then their actions were the inevitable result of a chain of events set in motion long before they were even born. So, can we still hold them morally responsible? Some argue that even if our actions are determined, we can still be held responsible for them because we are part of the chain of causality. Others, however, argue that if our actions are predetermined, then we can't truly be held accountable for them. If determinism holds, it would mean that our sense of control over our actions is merely an illusion. Now let's examine the other side of the coin, free will. The belief that humans have the capacity to make choices that are genuinely their own. Free will, in its essence, is the philosophical concept that suggests we, as individuals, have the power to make decisions independent of natural, divine, or societal constraints. It's the idea that we are not merely marionettes dancing on the strings of causality, but rather we are autonomous beings, capable of steering our own course in the vast sea of existence. The implications of free will are profound, particularly when it comes to morality and personal responsibility. If we truly possess free will, our actions are not preordained or controlled by external factors. Instead, they are the direct result of our own choices, for better or for worse. This means that when we commit a commendable act, the praise is rightfully ours. Conversely, when we err, the blame lies solely with us. In essence, free will serves as the bedrock of moral responsibility. For if our actions are predetermined, how can we be held accountable for them? If we are merely following a script written by fate, how can we be praised for our virtues or condemned for our vices? Philosophical arguments supporting free will often point to this moral dimension. For example, Immanuel Kant, the eminent German philosopher, argued that without free will, morality would be meaningless. Our sense of right and wrong, our feelings of guilt and pride, our very capacity for ethical judgment, all hinge on the assumption that we are free to choose our actions. Moreover, free will allows us to exercise agency over our lives, enabling us to cultivate our individuality, pursue our passions, and shape our destinies. It provides us with the opportunity to transcend our circumstances, to strive for better, and in doing so, to truly be human. If free will exists, it would mean that we are the true authors of our actions. But what if both determinism and free will can coexist? Welcome to the world of compatibilism. Compatibilism is a philosophical perspective that proposes a harmonious existence between determinism and free will. It's like an elegant dance, where the steps of determinism and the improvisation of free will create a complex yet harmonious performance. Imagine determinism as the music, the rhythm that guides the dance. It sets the pace, the tempo, the structure. Yet within this structure, the dancer representing free will has the liberty to interpret, to express, to create. This is the essence of compatibilism. It suggests that while our actions may be influenced by prior events, we are still capable of making choices that are genuinely ours. Now, let's delve into a few perspectives on compatibilism. Some philosophers argue that while our actions are indeed causally determined, it does not negate our ability to act freely. They propose that our choices, though influenced by external factors, are still fundamentally ours. We are the authors of our actions, even if the plot has been outlined ahead of time. Others, however, present a more nuanced view. They suggest that our freedom does not lie in the ability to do otherwise, but in acting according to our desires and intentions. In this sense, our free will is not about absolute freedom from causality, but about being able to act in alignment with our own motivations. Compatibilism is not without its critics. Some argue that it merely redefines free will to fit within the confines of determinism. Yet despite these criticisms, compatibilism offers a compelling viewpoint that challenges our understanding of free will and determinism. So, where does this leave us? Compatibilism suggests a world where our actions are not simply a product of prior events, nor are they uninfluenced by them. It paints a picture where our choices are both influenced by determinism and imbued with our own personal freedom. Compatibilism offers a nuanced view, suggesting that our actions can be both determined and free. So, where does this leave us in the debate between free will and determinism? Well, we've taken a whirlwind tour through the enigma of free will, explored the theoretical grounds of determinism, and delved into the compelling arguments for free will. We've also ventured into the realm of compatibilism, a middle ground that attempts to reconcile the seemingly irreconcilable. Yet the question remains, do we truly have free will, or are our choices predestined by a chain of cause and effect? The debate is ongoing, with no definitive answer in sight. Scholars, philosophers and scientists continue to wrangle over this conundrum, each side offering compelling arguments and counter-arguments. Whether we have free will or not, this question will continue to intrigue and perplex us. But one thing is certain, the search for the answer makes for a fascinating journey.